Let's do it.
Hi, Tom Clendon here, your SPR online lecturer, and I'm delighted to be joined today by James Wright. James, would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, lovely, Tom. Thank you for the very sweet introduction. And I mean, here on a Friday afternoon, chatting away ACCA-wise with the Yoda of ACCA world. I mean, it's a delight. Let's rock and roll and let's take it away from today.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that compliment, James. But you didn't introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit. Tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Oh, well, I'm in awe of the company I'm in, but I'm a university lecturer currently. I'm an ACCA member as well. I'm from Lincoln. Also, so we have a bit of honesty on the podcast today. I've passed ACCA exams and I've also failed ACCA exams. So plenty to discuss today. Previously worked in accounts base and tax in practice. And as I said, currently working at the University of Lincoln as a senior lecturer there. So looking forward to today's chat. We've got loads to get through.
Yes, and what I'm hoping that we can talk about is the gap or the experience that students have when they first leave university and go on to ACCA. I'm hoping you're going to tell me also a little bit later on about your fantastic YouTube channel and the resources that you provide there. But first of all, do you think there is a gap? Do you think there is a challenge or an issue with students who graduate with an accounting finance degree, get exemptions from ACCA, and then they're into the strategic professional stage? How do you find that?
Well, I can talk from my experience as a ACCA accelerant student from the past as well. A few years have ticked on, but I've still in there. It's all right. There is a gap in terms of you go from the university atmosphere of you're a full-time student, you've got that time, and you can actually balance your life versus when you go and work for a firm where you're under a study contract and you go on from I'm working 40 hours plus the commute going to work, then fitting around. Again, this is different for different listeners here as to, well, did I actually get any study leave in midweek, or do I have to listen to lectures online midweek as well? Or in my case, I was actually going to college on the weekends. So you can see how this is unraveling into it's a work-life balance difference here that we have. Plus as well, the actual standards when you actually get to the strategic level, there is a greater demand on better accuracy, referring back to the actual requirement as well. So it's going up from that foundation level and also fitting that around, well, from my experiences as well, working full time, studying such as Saturday and maybe Sunday with revision midweek. It is a massive shock to the system as well. So just to give you a bit of an insight on there.
Yeah, so there is a problem. There is a challenge, and I mean ACCA is worth it, isn't it? I mean it is worth it, but it doesn't come easy. And what advice would you give about that work-life balance and tips around that?
Well, you hit the nail on the head there at the start, Tom, in terms of, well, nothing worth having comes easy. But I mean, I'm not going for a movie career here or anything like that. But in terms of managing that all comes down to your own personal preferences. And everyone who studies ACCA is in different sort of brackets of their life, perhaps. So I've been to college with people who've got children, also families to look after as well, or even just you take on too much at the start. So you have to have that honest oh, sorry, Tom.
I like that, taking on too much at the start. I get frustrated sometimes when I talk to students who are trying to do two papers at the same time. And my advice always is they should do one paper at a time.
Oh, completely agree. And also just take a step back as well. If you're going into a new role from university, the learning curve of fitting into the organization, getting to know your colleagues, you may have to do traveling as well, all these other factors. If you're taking on two strategic papers on top of that as well, that is a massive, I don't want to use the word burden, but it's a case of it's a massive sort of impact on your life, especially someone like myself, where I talk about it on my YouTube channel as to, well, when I was doing my papers, I didn't have the right work-life balance, and I put on weight, and I didn't, it impact on so many other things, health, sleep. And at the end of the day, the two biggest assets in your life are, one, your time, and two, your health. And yes, ACCA is well worth it. It gives you global opportunities. You can travel wherever you want to go to, different industries. But at the end of the day, if it's going to knacker you out and you're not going to be happy doing it, you look back and you go, I could have done that better.
So I'm a big fan of little and often, and we have this choice, don't we? And where the ACCA put on exams 4 times a year, and there seems to be out there an impression that people have to do an exam every sitting. And I'm trying to encourage my students to think about, well, are you studying for March? Are you studying for June? Not like, are you studying, for the next exam coming up in a few weeks' time, but to have a schedule, have a plan going forward.
Oh, most definitely. It's a marathon, not a sprint in terms of it as well. And by actually having that sort of structure in place and guidance from people like myself and you, Tom, as well, with vast amounts of experience, actually reach out. The one factor I've just got to reach out to anyone listening to this is a case of, you've got to compare it to yourself, not your friends or what they're doing, because your scenario is going to be different to theirs. You've actually got to work out, okay, have a think back, James, take a step back and say, how much genuine study time have I got around my full-time commitments and what I want to do in my life? Because it falls into the realms of so many students say, I've got to do 2 because so-and-so who I went to university did 2, or have a good chat with your actual employer as to, well, coming in the next 6 months, what are the expectations? What are you thinking of me doing? How do we see us developing? Okay, brilliant. Now, how's that going to interact with my studying? Because yes, I want to progress in the company, but also I want to progress in my studies to learn it effectively and not just to pass on the bare minimum as well. That's one of the key aspects.
Yeah, I mean, I find that in SBR, because obviously a lot of students, having done SBR, then go on to AAA. And if they've done well in SBR, smashed it, got the good understanding, that really does help them in AAA.
Oh, AAA is, or for anyone listening, it's Advanced Audit and Assurance. Oh, look, and I say that in my radio voice, but Advanced Audit and Assurance is one of the exams I actually failed, and it's a case of, you underestimate it. You think, oh, I've passed Audit and Assurance. It'll be a sort of, I've gone on and done a strategic paper or the old P1, P2, P3, like I had to do, and it's a case of, I went into it a bit cold feet as well, and going, yeah, I think I've got a good chance. Failed it, and it sort of hit you down to the ground a bit on it, but it actually made me come back stronger. Actually, come back and say to yourself, what did I get wrong, and have an honest conversation. Why did I fail?
And
then
why?
go,
And why did you fail, or why do you think students fail, and how do they then correct that, James?
Well, first of all, you actually have to have an honest conversation with yourself. And I used to always collate all my notes together from the failed attempt, should we say, and then say, well, what was my strategy? And I just wrote it down on a piece of paper and then took it all down. Then you go away and say, right, who has passed the Advanced Audit and Assurance paper? So you reach out to potentially other students. There are other tutors online as well. And then working out, okay, well, they did it like this. And then you find out other studying mechanisms like mind maps, flashcards, even just sort of highlighting standards as well. So that's really important in the AAA, because you've got to refer to the standards, apply it to the scenario. And I'm just sort of regurgitating it now because I got it ingrained in my mind.
Yeah, I like that mixing up. I think it's obviously important to learn things and important to do exam questions, but listening to podcasts, doing mind maps, reading articles, all these are different ways of getting knowledge into your brain. I like the mixing up of it.
Oh yeah, well, just try something new as well. That's the other thing, and reach out to other students. The ACCA have got this student community now where you can interact with other students around the world. It's a case of just work out what works best for you and find out. Read the examiner's reports. There's so many things out there, and if I had £1 for every student that said to me, James, where are the external examiners reports? Or I've never heard of them before,
Oh,
I'd be able to retire.
yeah. So would I. so would I. So would I. So you're a YouTuber. I mean, are we going to see you on are we going to see you on Strictly Come Dancing next year?
Oh well, I'd be the one that would go for the sympathy vote in terms of it. I mean, it depends if I've had a G&T, how good my dancing is. But no, thank you very much. I don't classify myself as a YouTuber just yet in terms of things. I'm quite a newbie in terms of it, but it's just all good fun, and it's all completely student led. So students
But
leave me
your YouTube account is all about supporting ACCA students, isn't it?
Yeah, so that is the fundamental main focus of it, and through my podcast as well, they can listen to ACCA members from around the world. There are tips from my experience that I found that worked, and also pointing out things that I thought that didn't work as well. And it's quite authentic. I just sort of say it how it is, and we just have a nice chit chat away. And yeah, it's going pretty sweet. And stay tuned for more.
Thank you. So we could talk all weekend. But you said at the beginning you were from Lincoln, and that's a cathedral city. I've been there. There's a big hill in Lincoln, isn't there?
Oh, it's a little wander. It's all right. I mean, the mighty imps. We go marching on up the football league as well. Watch out, Manchester City, Lincoln City are on the way. But yes, I work on the campus, on the university city centre as well. Lincoln's an absolutely beautiful place, and you can walk absolutely anywhere. I was a previous student here, went away, worked in practice for 3 years, and then came back and working at the university now. It's rock and roll.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up there. But thank you very much for coming along today.
Oh, my pleasure, Tom. And best of luck to everyone listening with the upcoming December exams.